Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now, we're going to go over a couple things here. I want to talk about the Virginia Beach shooting. That's coming up in our next segment, okay? That's coming up in our next segment, the Virginia Beach shooting. We'll talk about it, and the reason I'm going to hold it one more segment is because I'm waiting to see if some news breaks around 9 on this. Now, I'm not aware of anything, but I want to keep up with it, and I want to see if some news breaks. Let me just say this. Give me number 57. And I'm just going to say this, and that's it. Here are 12 people that are dead Friday as a co-worker walked in with handguns. So they're not AR-15s. They're not military-type weapons, as the media likes to say. And they're handguns with silencers. And it looks like right now everything was done legally as far as the handguns, but we have no news. Out of these 12 people, there are black men, black women. Out of these 12 people, there are young white guys, old white guys. Out of these 12 people, there's white women, young, older. Something's wrong here with this picture. 12 dead, no news. So take that down. We're going to talk about that in our next segment. So anyhow, all right. So remember yesterday, James Clyburn, I told you over the weekend, James Clyburn said, and he is the House Minority Whip for the Democrats. I think it's Nancy Pelosi. I think after Nancy Pelosi is Steny Hoyer and then James Clyburn. But anyhow, third highest ranking Democrat in the House said that they're going to have to educate the public, right, for impeachment. To get the impeachment where we want it, we got to educate you out there. We got to bring you along. And as soon as we get you to a point, that's when we'll do what we need to do. So here is part of the continuing education for you, the American people, okay? I'm going to tell you something. I don't know where this ends. And when I say that with high hope that it ends without our country actually being able to unify, and maybe we can. I'm concerned on saying crack down on the media. I'm concerned on that. I really am. I don't want anybody to disrupt my ability and my First Amendment speech. But don't forget, part of that First Amendment speech that we talk about all the time is what? We can't yell fire in a crowded theater. And some of these media people, the lies are absolutely so bad. How many fingers am I holding up? 5. All right, so we got to educate the people. No, so we opened up this morning discussing what? Tiananmen Square, right? And when I was discussing that, I said, hey, they are running this right here. Here's the narrative they are running, okay? Give me number 33. So the world marks, and the reason I bring this together is to show you how corrupt the media is. The world marks 30-year anniversary of Tiananmen Square massacre, all right? And give me real quick number 35, and then go back to this. All right. Here it is. We all remember 30 years ago that student standing in front of the tank. I personally do. Now go back to the other one. So, what does it say on the bottom? Chinese government tightly censoring coverage or discussions about the event. And I shared with you that they're running stories that the Chinese government have erased Tiananmen Square from the history books in China, have erased from their school books, and they are keeping a tight look at social media and everywhere to completely erase Tiananmen Square ever happened. And what I said in that segment when we opened the day, hey, China is doing something we don't do every day in America, erase stuff from our history, right? So here's what the Democrats want to do. They want to rewrite history all the time. And remember, Clyburn said, what he said? He said he had to educate you, remember? And how do they plan to do that? To start the education process for you to understand and get you ready for how Watergate works. By none other than number 17. Sorry, folks. It's just, I feel absolutely great. I got a lot of rest yesterday. I feel good. Appreciate the entire staff for actually... Folks, after a 4-day baseball tournament, anybody that sticks around and puts up with me the next day, a big shout out to them. So, Watergate star. Yes, folks, look at this. A star. They're bringing in a Watergate star witness to testify on the Mueller report. See, Clyburn said they got to get you ready. They got to educate you. They got to bring the American people, they got to bring your appetite to want an impeachment. And how else to do it? See, Don McGahn's not showing up. And Don McGahn is what? White House counsel. And Don McGahn is the White House counsel that this corrupt Mueller report says that the President of the United States tried to obstruct Mueller's investigation by asking or telling Don McGahn that he needs to fire, okay? He needs to fire Special Counsel Robert Mueller. So remember the Saturday Night Massacre, right? Where Nixon fired everybody. This is, and let me find, this is John Dean, okay? Now, number 18. We're getting back on track. Dems ready, Mueller strategy shift. I tell you, you can't make this stuff up. Number 19. Dems to call Watergate star John Dean to testify on Mueller report. Now, John Dean is known for, well, he was the President Nixon's, okay, White House counsel for Nixon. And John Dean is famous for, I forget how many page opening statement he made in the Watergate hearing. And he's famous for the famous, there's a cancer on the presidency, sir, and if it continues to grow, it's going to kill you and your administration or whatever, just doing that from memory. But see, he was special counsel, Don McGahn special counsel. He was instructed to fire everybody. Don McGahn from Mueller was instructed to fire Mueller from the report. Don McGahn won't come in. But if we need to get you ready, American people, for Watergate, if we need to, for impeachment, if we need to convince you it's a must do, we have to do it. If we need to show you what's in the report, that somebody that's already been down this road, there's a whole list. What do? You call in John Dean. Because this is our last. See, they bypassed Bill Clinton's. They're not calling in any of Bill Clinton's witnesses to testify in that impeachment hearing. No, not at all. Gotta go back to John Dean, special counsel. He's a Watergate star. And the Dems are going to lavish him with praise for coming forward that day. They're going to lavish him, the Dems, with praise for saying, although I'm a Republican and in the White House, I can't sit idly by and let this president of the United States just do anything he wants and obstruct justice and commit a crime. You got to understand, you keep hearing Russian collusion. They feel the President of the United States is a criminal. You need to understand that. A flat-out criminal. A crook, a criminal, a two-bit crook, by the way. Oh, yes. Lower District of Manhattan wants him. He is, according to him, he's defrauded insurance companies. He is the crookedest, slimiest guy in the world, according to them. And that's why they got to get him. Democrats, right? So they'll lavish praise on Dean. They'll get him in there. He will be awesome. He will be thanked for his service to America by doing the right thing when it was tough. They will use him to try to put pressure on Republicans that they feel needs to break. This could actually bring the ratings up one small notch for Rachel Maddow, the MSNBC. They will start running the narrative, when will Republicans within the White House break and decide and come and tell the real story. But John Dean, remember, Clyburn said you have to be educated, the American people. And he has to bring you along and get you to where you have the appetite for impeachment. So if you don't think they really want to impeach the President of the United States, if you don't think that's what their ultimate goal is to remove him, then you just do not know, because John Dean is Watergate, is, the Watergate trial for impeachment of President Nixon. And Dean is he's going to interpret. Mueller said, hey, my testimony stands. I'm saying all I want. Don McGahn won't come in. Attorney General Barr is obviously, he's so corrupt, according to Democrats. We're going to go to John Dean here and start the education. So this is the early on showing you why the groundwork needs to be done using John Dean. I'm your host, BKP. I'm going to take a little break. Come back right after these messages.